In the small town of Ridgeview, nestled amidst rolling hills and surrounded by dense forests, a sinister tale unfolded. The town was known for its idyllic charm and tight-knit community, but a shadow cast by a haunting murder disrupted its tranquility. Ben, a curious and tenacious journalist, found himself drawn to the mystery surrounding the murder. The victim, Emily Thompson, a young woman with a promising future, was found brutally slain in her own home. The stormy night of her death only added to the chilling atmosphere that enveloped the town. Driven by a desire for truth and justice, Ben embarked on an investigation that would unravel the dark secrets lurking beneath Ridgeview's seemingly perfect facade. He delved into Emily's life, meticulously piecing together her relationships, hobbies, and potential motives for the crime. As he interviewed friends, family, and acquaintances, a web of lies and deceit began to unravel before Ben's eyes. Hidden tensions, long-held grudges, and shocking revelations painted a sinister portrait of Ridgeview's underbelly. The storm that raged outside mirrored the turmoil within the community. Each thunderclap seemed to echo the unsettling truths that Ben unearthed, while lightning illuminated the path to the heart of the mystery. With every step forward, the darkness seemed to close in. Haunted by the image of Emily's lifeless body, Ben refused to succumb to fear. He pushed deeper, unearthing a clandestine affair, a bitter rivalry, and a series of ominous events leading up to the murder. But the closer he got to the truth, the more he realized that his own life was in grave danger. As the storm raged on, its relentless fury matching the intensity of Ben's determination, he found himself on the precipice of a breakthrough. Through his relentless investigation, he had identified several key suspects in Emily's murder, each with their own motives and secrets to protect. One name stood out among the rest: Daniel Harrison, a prominent businessman with a dark reputation. Whispers of illicit dealings and a propensity for violence surrounded him. Ben knew that confronting Daniel was a risk, but he couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that there was more to the story than met the eye. In a daring move, Ben arranged a clandestine meeting with Daniel in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. The storm's fury reached its crescendo as lightning illuminated the eerie setting, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the darkness. The tension between Ben and Daniel crackled in the air as they locked eyes. Their exchange was fraught with unspoken threats and veiled accusations. Ben pressed for the truth, desperate to uncover the secrets that Daniel held. But Daniel was cunning and evasive, his responses carefully crafted to keep Ben at bay. As the storm intensified, Ben realized that he had underestimated the danger he had put himself in. Daniel's true nature revealed itself, and a harrowing chase ensued through the dimly lit corridors of the warehouse. With each lightning flash, Ben caught glimpses of Daniel's menacing figure as he pursued him relentlessly. The echoes of their footfalls mingled with the crashing thunder, amplifying the sense of impending doom. Finally, in a climactic confrontation, Ben managed to corner Daniel. Exhausted and breathless, they faced each other amidst the storm's fury. It was then that Daniel, with a chilling smile, confessed to the murder. His motives, buried beneath layers of deceit and darkness, were finally laid bare. But as Ben prepared to apprehend the killer, a deafening thunderclap shook the warehouse. In the chaos that followed, Daniel seized the opportunity to escape, disappearing into the night like a phantom. Defeated but undeterred, Ben emerged from the warehouse, rain pouring down on him as he contemplated the truth he had uncovered. The storm gradually subsided, leaving behind a sense of desolation and unanswered questions. Determined to bring justice to Emily's memory and ensure that Daniel would face the consequences of his actions, Ben redoubled his efforts. The storm had shown him the depths of darkness that existed within Ridgeview, and he refused to let it consume the town and its inhabitants. In the aftermath of the storm, Ridgeview seemed to hold its breath, caught between the lingering fear and the desperate need for closure. The town was on edge, and the echoes of the murder reverberated through the community. Undeterred by Daniel's escape, Ben channeled his frustration into a relentless pursuit of justice. He knew that exposing the truth was the only way to bring peace back to Ridgeview and provide closure to Emily's grieving loved ones. As he dug deeper, Ben uncovered a hidden network of corruption that extended far beyond Daniel's involvement. The storm had exposed the underbelly of Ridgeview, a dark nexus of deceit, greed, and manipulation. It seemed that Emily's murder was not an isolated incident, but rather a symptom of a deeper, more pervasive problem plaguing the town. With newfound determination, Ben enlisted the help of a few trusted allies. Fellow journalists, a dedicated detective, and even some courageous townspeople who were tired of living in fear. Together, they uncovered a trail of evidence that led straight to the heart of Ridgeview's power structure. The final confrontation loomed on the horizon as storm clouds gathered once again. In a climactic revelation, the truth was unveiled, exposing the true orchestrator behind Emily's murder, a figure of authority who had long manipulated the town's strings from the shadows. In a gripping showdown, Ben confronted the mastermind, a person who had wielded their influence with impunity, leaving destruction in their wake. The storm raged outside, mirroring the tempest of emotions and revelations within the room. But justice prevailed. The truth could no longer be contained, and the townspeople, once divided by fear and secrets, united against the corrupt forces that had held them captive for so long. With the storm finally subsiding, Ridgeview began the slow process of healing. The town's wounds were deep, but the newfound unity and resolve offered hope for a brighter future. Ben, satisfied that he had brought the truth to light, reflected on the power of resilience and the necessity of unmasking darkness in the pursuit of justice. As the sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm glow over Ridgeview, Ben felt a sense of closure. The storm had tested the town's spirit, but it had also revealed its strength. The memory of Emily's tragic murder would forever serve as a reminder of the price of complacency and the courage required to challenge the shadows. Cain had always been a responsible and attentive father. He cherished every moment spent with his 5-year-old daughter, Lily. They lived in a small, close-knit community nestled in the countryside, where the calmness of nature was interrupted only by the occasional thunderstorm. One late evening, as the entire town was settling down to sleep, the sky began to darken with ominous clouds, and the rumbling of thunder filled the air with a sense of unease. Cain, weary from a long day's work, sat on the couch, watching Lily play in her room. The little girl, full of energy and laughter, seemed oblivious to the impending storm. Suddenly, a flash of lightning illuminated the sky, followed by a loud crack of thunder. It sent a shiver down Cain's spine, and he decided it would be best to let Lily sleep to prevent her from getting scared. He walked towards her room, but to his horror, she was nowhere to be found. Panic gripped his heart as he frantically searched the entire house, but there was no trace of Lily. Cain called the police, and soon the community rallied together for a search operation. Volunteers combed the surrounding areas, their efforts illuminated by the flickering lightning in the sky. Hours turned into days, and days turned into weeks, but there was no news of Lily. Every day, Cain dedicated himself to the search, with the help of friends and neighbors who tirelessly looked for his missing daughter. The void left by Lily's disappearance consumed Cain. His heart shattered, and he sank into a sea of despair. Lily was his joy, his everything. He couldn't allow himself to remain indifferent to her fate. Months of agonizing uncertainty passed, and one day, a farmer named Mr. Anderson stumbled upon something peculiar while tending to his crops. The thunderstorm had wreaked havoc, leaving behind a trail of destruction. As Mr. Anderson surveyed his fields, he noticed a small mound of freshly disturbed earth. Intrigued, he approached the area and began to dig, his weathered hands unearthing a sight that would forever haunt him. It was the lifeless body of a child, small and fragile. Mr. Anderson's heart sank as he recognized the face, the innocent features that had graced countless missing posters. It was Lily. The news spread through the community like wildfire. reaching Kane's ears and shattering his world into a million pieces. The police launched a full investigation, treating Lily's death as a homicide. Kane, consumed by grief and burning with a desire for justice, threw himself into aiding the authorities. He tirelessly sought answers, desperate to understand who could have committed such a heinous act. The whispers and rumors in the town grew louder, suspicion casting its shadow on even the most trusted neighbors. The storm continued to loom over the town, its tempestuous presence mirroring the turmoil within Kane's heart. The truth, like lightning, was elusive and unpredictable. Kane questioned everyone he could think of, following leads that often led to dead ends. But he refused to give up. He would not rest until he found the person responsible for his daughter's untimely demise. As the investigation deepened, secrets began to unravel. Beneath the veneer of a peaceful community, darkness lurked. Hidden motives, buried resentments, and fractured relationships were brought to light. Kane discovered a web of deceit that he had never anticipated, a tangled maze of interconnected lives and shattered trust. Kane's relentless pursuit of justice led him down a twisted path, uncovering unsettling truths that had been carefully hidden beneath the surface of the seemingly idyllic community. As the investigation progressed, Kane learned that there were individuals in the town who harbored secrets that intertwined with Lily's tragic fate. Whispers of whispered conversations and suspicious glances became more frequent, casting a shadow of doubt over those he once trusted. Kane's search for answers took him to the darkest corners of the town, where he encountered individuals plagued by their own demons. There were rumors of a reclusive figure, known only as the Watcher, who lurked in the shadows, observing the community's every move. Speculation grew that this mysterious figure might hold the key to the truth. Driven by desperation, Kane ventured into the depths of the town's history, unearthing long-forgotten tales of tragedy and sorrow. He discovered a series of unsolved disappearances, eerily similar to Lily's case, stretching back over the years. It seemed that the town had a haunting legacy of lost children, shrouded in silence and fear. One stormy night, as rain poured relentlessly, Kane received an anonymous tip. It led him to an abandoned shack on the outskirts of town, a place whispered about in hushed tones. With a mix of trepidation and determination, he entered the dilapidated structure, its creaking walls echoing his racing heartbeat. Inside, Kane found a chilling scene. The walls were adorned with photographs, newspaper clippings, and eerie symbols. It was a makeshift shrine dedicated to the lost children of the town. As he scanned the images, a sickening realization washed over him. The faces of the missing children bore an uncanny resemblance to the townspeople he had known for years. Before he could comprehend the full horror of his discovery, a figure emerged from the darkness. It was the Watcher, a gaunt and haunted figure with hollow eyes. In a voice laced with madness, the Watcher confessed to his sinister role in the disappearances. He reveled in the fear and pain he had inflicted upon the town, relishing the power it gave him. In a desperate struggle, Kane fought against the Watcher, his grief and rage fueling every blow. The storm outside raged in harmony with their battle, flashes of lightning illuminating the grim scene. In a final desperate act, Kane managed to overpower the Watcher, subduing him until the authorities arrived. The truth, though painful, was finally revealed. The Watcher had preyed on the innocents of the town, abducting and ultimately ending the lives of the vulnerable children. The community, devastated by the revelation, began the slow process of healing, supporting one another in their shared trauma. As for Kane, while he would forever bear the weight of his daughter's loss, he found solace in knowing that justice had been served. He dedicated his life to raising awareness about child safety, ensuring that no other family would suffer the same tragedy. The thunderstorms continued to visit the town, but they no longer held the same fear. The community emerged from the darkness, united by their resilience and determination to protect their children. And amidst the lingering echoes of grief, the spirit of Lily lived on as a reminder of the enduring power of love and the strength to confront the darkest of storms. Nick always had a fascination with thunderstorms. The way the dark clouds gathered in the sky, the rumble of thunder, and the crackling lightning fascinated him. He found beauty in the chaos that the storm brought with it. As an aspiring writer, he often sought inspiration from nature's powerful displays. One summer evening, as the sun began to set, Nick noticed the signs of an approaching thunderstorm. The air grew heavy, and the wind started to pick up. Excitement coursed through his veins as he grabbed his notebook and pen, ready to capture the essence of the storm through his words. As the first raindrops started to fall, Nick hurriedly made his way to the old oak tree at the edge of his property. It provided him with a perfect vantage point to observe the storm while staying relatively dry. He settled down under the tree, his heart racing with anticipation. The thunder grew louder, reverberating through the air. The flashes of lightning illuminated the darkened landscape, casting eerie shadows. Nick's pen danced across the paper, trying to capture the intensity and raw power of the storm. He was completely engrossed in his writing, unaware of the approaching danger. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck a nearby tree, splitting it in half with a thunderous crack. Nick's heart skipped a beat as debris flew in all directions. He realized he had put himself in a precarious situation. Panic surged through him as he scrambled to his feet, desperate to find a safer place to weather the storm. With each step, the rain poured harder, obscuring his vision. The wind howled, tugging at his clothes and making it difficult to maintain his balance. Nick's mind raced, searching for a way to escape the wrath of the storm. He knew he had to find shelter before it was too late. Drenched and disoriented, Nick stumbled upon an abandoned farmhouse. The dilapidated structure stood as a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. He mustered all his strength and pushed open the creaking door. The interior was dark and musty, with an eerie silence that sent shivers down his spine. Realizing he was not alone, Nick cautiously called out, "Hello? Is anyone here?" There was no response, only the sound of raindrops tapping against the broken windows. He took a few hesitant steps forward, feeling the weight of the old house's secrets surround him. As he explored further, Nick noticed a narrow staircase leading to the upper floor. A flicker of light caught his attention, drawing him closer. He ascended the creaky stairs, his heart pounding with each step. The source of the light became clear as he reached the top. In a small room at the end of the hallway, a single candle flickered on an old wooden table. The room was sparse, save for a weathered journal lying open. Intrigued, Nick approached the table and picked up the journal, its pages filled with faded ink and the musings of its previous owner. Just as he was about to read a passage, a loud crash of thunder shook the house. The candle extinguished, plunging Nick into darkness. Panic once again consumed him, but this time, it was not solely due to the storm. The house seemed to come alive with eerie whispers, as if urging him to leave before it was too late. With his heart pounding in his chest, Nick made his way back down the stairs, stumbling and fumbling in the darkness. He reached the front door, only to find it mysteriously jammed shut. Fear washed over him, and he pounded on the door, desperate to escape the confines of the haunted farmhouse. Nick's frantic pounding echoed through the empty house, but it seemed as if the very walls were conspiring against him. Fear and adrenaline coursed through his veins, giving him the strength to push against the stubborn door one final time. With an anguished creak, it finally gave way, and Nick burst out into the storm once again. The rain battered against him with renewed fury as he stumbled into the open, gasping for breath. He dared not look back at the house, fearing what he might see. Instead, he sprinted across the field, searching for any form of shelter that could offer respite from the raging tempest. His eyes caught a glimpse of dim light in the distance. It flickered like a beacon of hope, guiding him through the darkness. Nick pushed his exhausted body forward, fueled by a desperate need to find safety. As he drew closer, he realized it was a small roadside diner, its neon sign barely visible through the rain-soaked night. Nick burst through the doors, a trail of water following him. The patrons looked up in surprise, their eyes widening at the sight of his drenched figure. The waitress hurried over, concern etched on her face. "Are you okay? What happened?" she asked, guiding him to an empty booth. I was caught in the storm," Nick stammered, his voice still trembling. "I took shelter in an old farmhouse, but something wasn't right. I had to get out." The waitress exchanged a worried glance with the cook, who nodded in silent understanding. They had heard whispers of the haunted farmhouse that stood abandoned on the outskirts of town, and Nick's harrowing experience seemed to confirm the stories. Nick sat in the booth, his body trembling as he tried to regain his composure. The storm raged on outside, the sound of thunder echoing through the diner. The patrons huddled closer, seeking solace in each other's presence. As Nick sipped on a cup of hot coffee, his eyes caught sight of a newspaper lying on the counter. The front page headline sent chills down his spine. "Local writer vanishes without a trace." The accompanying article spoke of a promising young author named Nicholas Robertson, who had been reported missing after going out to seek inspiration from the thunderstorm that had swept through the area. A cold realization washed over him. The farmhouse, the journal, the whispers, they all seemed intertwined with his own experience. Had he stumbled upon the remnants of Nicholas Robertson's ill-fated encounter with the storm? The diner fell silent, the only sounds being the patter of rain against the windows and the distant rumble of thunder. Nick knew that he had escaped something truly sinister. Whether it was the wrath of the storm or something supernatural lurking within the farmhouse, he couldn't be sure. But one thing was certain: he had been given a second chance. As the storm gradually subsided, Nick thanked the kind-hearted waitress and stepped back out into the night. The air was charged with the freshness that follows a thunderstorm, and the lingering scent of petrichor filled his nostrils. Nick knew he would never forget that night, the night he had danced with danger and narrowly escaped its clutches. From that day forward, he would approach storms with both reverence and caution, understanding the immense power they held. And as he walked home, his mind already brewing with the tale he would pen, Nick felt a newfound respect for the storms that could both inspire and terrify, reminding him of the fragility of life and the strength of the human spirit.